Put Wheel of Fortune on sushi. Ah yeah, sushi in a box, sushi in a box. I got sushi in a box. You know what sucks? Mondays. You know what doesn't suck though? Is getting cool stuff in the mail. Well, our good friend GeekWithThat sent us a fantastic care package with some amazing things. And I thought it would be fun to share it, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Well, first off, I'm going to start small and then I'm going to go big. So the first thing is some fancy PlayStation 3 wireless controllers. These DualShock 3s. Oh, wait, this white one says DoubleShock 3. And I see that it has a big P3 button in the middle instead of the PS button, like your standard PlayStation 3 controller, and some weird symbols.
I like that as well.
I know. It is a really, really sweet white controller. The analogs feel weird, but you can never have too many PlayStation 3 controllers. Alrighty, so next up, let's see what we got here. We have a really fancy, and it's another controller, a really fancy Japanese Sega Saturn controller. Now, we really needed an extra controller for our Sega Saturn, and these Japanese ones, where they have like the transparent plastic on the outside with the colored buttons, it's just like the Super Nintendo. You know, the Super Famicom controllers with the colored buttons are so much cooler than the US ones. So this is very exciting. Very, very exciting. Alrighty, next up, we have another Sega Saturn item, the Action Replay 4M Plus. Now this is an expansion cart for the Sega Saturn. You can use it for RAM expansion. So you can use these for multiple things. You can do things like RAM expansions. I know the Sega Saturn had some official Saturn RAM expansion carts. This one is a 4 megabytes one, I think. And you can also use it to play import games. So instead of modifying your console, you can just buy one of these and insert them into the RAM expansion slot and play away. Very cool, very cool. I also heard that you can modify them so you can play backup discs. So instead of having to hard mod your system, you can just buy one of these as well and play your backup discs. Very cool.
You can also throw it at your wife.
It's true, you could throw it at your wife. That is an option. Alright, next up, let's continue with the Sega fanfare here. And we have a 32X. Now these things they're heavier than you think they are. It's an expansion for the Sega Genesis, along with the Sega CD. It is the Megatron. It is the head of the Megatron of the Sega consoles. It has this expansion cable here that connects into the Sega Genesis, and apparently the the Genesis, it says Genesis, the Genesis 32X boosted the graphical capabilities of the Sega Genesis. I think there's literally only like 16 games for the 32X. I don't know the exact number.
We have Doom.
We do have Doom, and we have Star Trek, Star Wars, something. So this is very cool. I always enjoyed the whole Tower of Power thing with the Sega Genesis, where you can get like the Sonic and Knuckles, and then you have the power base converter that allows you to play Master System games on the Sega Genesis. You just have this huge stack of Sega Genesis peripherals. One of the other cool things we got in the mail is we have sushi in a box. Oh, I don't think it's very fresh though.
Aww, it's a new bag.
And he's content now. Alrighty, and again, continuing with the Sega theme, we have an EverDrive MD. So the Mega Drive and Sega Genesis flash drive, or the EverDrive, allows you to stick an SD card with ROMs so you can play your pirated games on official hardware. Or, your official games that you ripped yourself. This is very cool. Right, we totally always own the games before we download them, right? But this is very cool. I always wanted to try one of these EverDrives. I think the idea of downloading ROMs and being able to play them on official hardware is very cool. Very, very cool. And I can't wait to test this one out. Let's move on to... Let's do this one. So this one I'm actually very, very excited about. It is my first ever PC Engine, aka the TurboGrafx 16 in the US. So this is the Japanese version of that console. I like how small it is.
I had no idea it was that small.
I know, it's so little. I know the 32X is, or not the 32X.
TurboGrafx.
The TurboGrafx 16 is about, the size of like a PS2 or something. But the PC Engine is so little. And I don't know why they made them so big in the US. I guess to make it seem more expensive. I don't know. Or more something. And it comes with this fancy turbo pad. The PC, I keep saying 32X. The PC Engine controller. I've never held one of these in my hand. And I love the whole hue card slot. It has this little thing to lock it in. Right? We have Keith's Courage that we could fit in there if we really wanted to. We can insert that card real good. But yeah, the PC Engine. So one of the greatest consoles for shoot 'em ups, apparently, next to the Sega Genesis, aka the Mega Drive. Yeah, I've never even held one of these in my hand before. We have a hue card for Keith Courage, and that's it. That's the only other thing I've ever seen of the PC Engine / 32X. So that's very cool. I'm very excited about that. Now you're forcing me to buy PC Engine games.
Airplanes.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's go on to Nintendo. So we were lucky enough to get two fancy NES games. The first one being Kickle Cubicle by Irem. It's a cool little puzzle game, if I recall. I don't really know too much about it, but I absolutely love the artwork on this one. And Irem, best known for things like Bad Dudes and Vigilante, things like that. Kind of interesting that they did kind of a tile-based puzzle game. So I'm very excited about that. And we have Wheel of Fortune on the NES. So when you're bored on the weekends, had a few drinks, and you really, really, really want to spin that wheel, I don't know if Pat Sajak is in this. Probably is.
Why wouldn't he be?
But you can see, right, you can see an 8-bit Pat Sajak and answer or try to solve word puzzles. But this is kind of exciting. And to continue with the Nintendo shenanigans, we have the creme de la creme, the piece de la resistance. We have the creme de la creme, the piece de la resistance, the creme de la creme, the piece de la resistance. Is that right?
Jay will probably be sad, but
we have an original Famicom, straight from Japan. This is another console that I've always wanted, and I've never actually held one in my hand. It's very cool. It's the predecessor to the NES here in the US. One thing that I've always loved about the Famicom is how the cartridges are so colorful. And not only that, I feel like the color scheme of the original Famicom, the Japanese version, is this kind of like off-white with the burgundy. It's really cool. And it's Famicom, short for family computer, just so you know, just in case you didn't know. One thing that was odd though is that the controllers were attached to the system, so they're not removable. And they're much smaller, and the wire is so short. It's like 3 feet long. Not even. But one thing that was cool about the Famicom that never made it to the US with the NES is that the controller, or at least I think it's the second player controller, has a microphone in it. And even when Nintendo was releasing their original console, they still made weird decisions.
What was the microphone?
I think that for some of the games you can speak into it, kind of like the DS worked.
Did we get any of those games?
We probably got some of the games, but I don't think they probably removed a lot of the things.
What's the microphone?
Games.
Which ones?
I don't know.
Did we get any of them?
We may have. I don't know.
Such a job.
God, I didn't do my research, okay? But this is very cool. I think one of the biggest downfalls of the original Famicom was that it was only RF. It didn't have AV. Though there are a lot of mods out there to give these consoles AV. Or maybe there's not. I really don't know. Anyway, it's an artifact. It's a historical item that I am very excited to own. Alright, so the true piece de la resistance, I think I said it that time, is the one, the only, upscaler extraordinaire, the OSSC, or the Open Source Scan Converter. Now, it is boasted to be a lag-free upscaler that will upscale things like component, SCART RGB, VGA, and I think that's it, to 1080p. So you can do things like 2 times, 3 times, up to 5 times scaling, I believe. And a great way to take some of your old consoles, especially the ones that you can get RGB and or component out of, and upscale them to play on an HD TV. Now this is extremely exciting, and I don't know how much you guys know about me, but I love tinkering and fancy electronic devices. Now I have a RetroTink 2X, which is a similar device. That one upscales only 2 times, as well as a few other features, but this is kind of like the Rolls Royce of upscalers. Next to the FrameMeister, which we won't talk about, because I don't have one. But anyway, it has a fancy remote, so you can do all of your configurations without having to press buttons on here. Yeah, you hold it like this.
The standard posture.
Yep. And I know some about this device. I've dreamed about it. I lusted over it. And it seriously excites me to hold it in my hand and know that at some point in my life I will hook it up, configure it, and play some Super Nintendos in 1080p. So that's it, my friends. That was the fancy mail call we got from our friend GeekWithThat. And I want to thank you so much, GeekWithThat, for sending us all these amazing items. The Famicom, the PC Engine, the OSSC. Thank you so much. We truly, truly appreciate it. And for all of you watching, be sure to follow GeekWithThat on Twitter. He's at GeekWithThat. And, you know, all the other shenanigans you do with this YouTube thing. Follow us. Subscribe. Like it if you like it. You know, don't like it if you don't.
Don't do it.
It's what you do.
Don't do it.
I guess. And follow me at Backlog Odyssey on Twitter. And my lovely wife, my producer, my partner in crime, at OctoTaco1. To stay up to date with all the new content that we publish, including our reviews on our website, backlogodyssey.com. And, you know, the silly GIFs, videos like this, reviews, what have you. I should probably put my beer down.
Hold the beer.
And I hope you all have a great day.